Welcome to our YouTube channel, In Our Basement. My name is Niels.
And I'm Gail. We're going to be having conversations and share our thoughts about things that we're really passionate about.
And just before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
And if you like the content, then feel free to share it on your social media platform.
So now we have now left Yellowknife and we've moved to Winnipeg.
In our basement.
In our basement. Yeah. And then, I remember I discussed with my doctor about talking about infertility and just saying because I think, that's right. At this point, after moving to Winnipeg, we would have crossed the 1 year mark. Mm-hmm. Well over. And I remember bringing this up to our doctor, and he sent me for some testing, and then in April we got connected with the doctors who help you out with infertility, right? And mm-hmm. So it was the Heartline Clinic, the only real fertility clinic in Winnipeg, from what I know. Mm-hmm. And I remember because of the COVID situation and it being April, it was a phone call.
It was the beginning.
The beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had just shut down the
mm-hmm.
in-person.
I was so nervous about having a phone call appointment about such a sensitive topic.
Yeah. It was you just want to talk? Is that going to do anything? And you figuring out but we had blood tests and whatnot,
yeah.
and it just everything came back normal. We're two healthy adults, and so
exactly.
Yeah, it was tough.
I remember, this is why I'm laughing. I remember he asked a question that really lightened the mood, and then first he's got a little bit of information, and then he's like, "Okay, Mr. Niels, Mrs. Gale, how often do you light the candles?" And I'm like, did he just ask what I think he asked? I'm like he's not even laughing, but I guess if that's your job, I'm like, how can you ask that with a straight face?
Yeah.
But I swear, if we were face to face at that doctor's appointment, I would have fell out of my chair laughing. How do you light the candles? Or how often do you light the candles?
I feel I would have probably turned blood red out of but
they're used to that, right? So.
Yeah, but it's just yeah, we're lighting the candle.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah. Yeah. So then, and then I remember he gave us advice, which we did not follow. So
yes, we went against the doctor's wishes.
Right. So the doctor had said that because COVID is fairly new and because we don't have enough research at the time, that we are encouraging couples to not try at this time.
Yeah.
And at the end of the conversation, that's when I stopped liking him. I'm kidding.
We were just we're just not going to follow that.
I was like, yeah, cool. Thanks for that advice.
It's when you've been trying for that long, it's no, I'm not going to skip it.
Right.
No.
And yeah, it was just such an interesting recommendation, right?
Mm-hmm.
To, just because, yeah, no, I get it. There's the seriousness of that, but I am definitely thankful that we did not listen to what the doctor said. In that case, we trusted God and recognized that we are adults, and I make my own decisions. No, I'm just kidding. But,
we didn't feel a conviction to stop.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
So we kind of in the summer, it was a nice summer, and started to feel not so great. So
right, tell us, as we've now.
It took some tests and was a negative.
Yeah.
Went to the doctor, got another negative. It was tough, but then a couple months later, I think it was, I was just not feeling great, and I was I feel I just need to go get an appointment with this fertility doctor again, just to make sure there's not something wrong, there's not something that I'm no longer able to have children. I've reached menopause.
Well, we had wondered all those things too. That was even tough. I remember I was recovering from the concussion.
Yeah.
But yeah, for you, it was.
Yeah. So we had this appointment, and before the appointment, it was an over-the-phone appointment again because they hadn't opened up the clinic. I don't even know if they have yet.
No, it was still phone, yeah.
And so, yeah, we had this phone call appointment, and I was just not feeling good. I was tired, just like, not like, I think I had like a little bit of nausea, just my appetite was down. And you were just like, Gail, why don't you tell them?
I was just like, and it was like, and this had been going on for like the past day or so, and now we've got this appointment in the early afternoon, and she's still not feeling good. 1 hour before, I'm like, babe, if you're up for it, why don't you just like take a pregnancy test, right? And they're like, well, no, like, why don't I just like, I think you're like, why don't I just talk with him? I'm like, yeah, but like if you take a pregnancy test, then at least maybe you'll know, and it can maybe guide the conversation a little bit better. The symptoms you're feeling are kind of, it's just, I'm just wondering. I mean,
So I went and I took the test, and it was quite quickly. Oftentimes you have to wait like 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes for results to come in. But like in this test, it's 1 line is a negative and 2 lines is a positive. And me, oh my, those were 2 very bold lines. And so I was in the bathroom by myself, and I just was like in disbelief, and I basically just like had my jaw dropped. I'm pretty sure I probably turned pale white in disbelief and stared, like went from looking at the test, looking at myself, looking at the test, looking at myself for a good like 2 to 3 minutes at least, I feel like. And then
it was probably like 30 seconds, but it felt like forever.
Okay, well, yeah.
I'm kidding.
When you're in shock, it's hard to like. So
yeah, totally.
Yeah, because it's like 2 years almost, and I had never had anything like that. And so, I finally was like, okay. So I open up the bathroom door, and I'm in the hallway, and Niels is in the living room, and I'm like, Niels.
And the way she like said it, she just said my name. Like I had a good feeling about it, but me being the quirky guy I was like, "Yo, what's up?" Like I knew what she was doing. Like I just like.
I was still in shock and disbelief, and
then you're like, "Can you come here?" I'm like, "Why?" I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'm on my way."
Yeah, so and
then we like
showed you, and
we're like, "Whoa."
And I was like, I'm not accepting this because I don't want this to be a false and to like be in that like disappointment at a later time. So we had the appointment with the doctor and
Mr. Light the Candles, yeah.
Mr. Light a Candle. And I said, so I took a pregnancy test, and like, I think I might be pregnant. I'm not sure though. Like, it just like it said positive, but I don't know. Like, and he's like, "Well, congratulations."
Right.
And I was like, "Well, okay."
I had this like insecure moment where he was gonna be like mad that we wasted his time, but he was like so happy, and I'm like so glad that he was so happy for us and encouraged us
and just gave us recommendations of what to do next
and referrals for tests.
So I went to, still in disbelief. The next day I went to the doctor, and I was like, so I think I might be pregnant. And so I did the test, and I hear the nurse in the hallway say, "Yup, she's pregnant." And before the doctor even came in, and still like that gave me a little bit more of a confidence. But then I was like, okay, blood test. That's when I'm going to really believe it. So I went for the blood test, and it was like, yep. And it was like, I remember calling you. FaceTime. I FaceTimed you straight after my appointment at the clinic, and I was just in like, this is real.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And how did you feel during that phone call?
I think I was just like pumped. I think I was still on cloud 9 from the day before, and then also just like, whoa, this is getting real. And I remember, me being like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" Like they said yes.
Yeah.
yeah, I was just like, whoa, like it's happened. And I think we just took like, some time between the two of us just to process and thank God for like this miracle and this change in our lives.
Yeah, and that's the thing with pregnancy too. Often every couple is different, but in deciding how long before you tell people. And so I think we waited until first trimester was done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I just remember like it was after the clinic that I was listening to this song, and it was about how like without you, God, this wouldn't be possible. And that's a song that like I listen to, and I just like every time I'm reminded, and because really like I give credit to God for making this possible, for making this child possible. And
was it the Made Away song?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was Made Away by Travis Green. With the worship mob rendition of it was just so encouraging. Yeah.
So
it was like, you made a way, something like that, over and over, right? Like,
yeah. So
yeah,
if nothing's impossible.
So now with this season of the pregnancy, how has it also been going for you?
So after the 2 years of trying, and I've told my story of that I have epilepsy, and I've gone through surgeries and all these things, and for the pregnancy I've just kind of tried my best to go through this whole thing with no expectations, and trying to ready myself. Anything is possible. There could be complications, there could be this, there could be that. Just don't like picture a perfect pregnancy. Don't picture like perfection of anything. Like don't picture this as an easy ride. And I've heard all of these stories of different women having complications or having really tough symptoms of their pregnancy, and I'm very, very thankful that I have had no expectations.
Yeah.
So I haven't been disappointed.
Yeah.
But I've actually been relieved, I feel like, because of like, pregnancy is not like a fly, it's not easy, but it hasn't been as hard as I had worried about thus far anyways. So like today I'm at the end of the 30 weeks.
Wow.
So I've got just over 2 months left before our due date.
Yeah.
So for all of you, 30 weeks. Whenever I was like, before pregnancy, people would say, "Oh, I'm this many weeks." I'm like, oh, yeah, but how long?
Yeah.
So the pregnancy is 40 weeks.
Wow. Yeah.
So we're reaching the home stretch.
You've had at the beginning, you had some interesting cravings. Because or some cravings that were non-favorable for you, right?
It was food aversions.
Food aversions. That's what I meant. Sorry, the opposite. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, it's really okay. So the first trimester, I thankfully didn't have like severe morning sickness or anything like that. It was just an obscene decrease in appetite and could only eat. Niels would say, "What are you eating? The baby's plate?" Because it was just like tiny plates of food.
Yeah.
So I've
been eating her leftovers. I think I'm feeling like I'm at 30 weeks. I'm just kidding.
So, like I could not handle the smell of eggs, fried eggs.
Yeah.
Niels loves his egg and toast every morning, and I was just like, I need to leave.
Yeah.
I can't be in the same room.
Yeah. Also some curries and things like that.
Well, I was getting there.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So there was the eggs, and then I could not handle like saucy foods. So like spaghetti, or like I used to make this other chicken with sauce on it, and I was just like, that just makes me gag. And and then like chicken wings, I couldn't handle. And then
so that means I got more. Yes.
And then the worst for Niels, being the Sri Lankan, he grew up on all the curries from his mom.
Mm-hmm.
She makes some good food, which I really enjoyed before pregnancy. But so like Niels would get his curry for takeout because
sometimes I do that.
He just needed that comfort.
Right. Yeah.
And so whenever that would come home, I could hardly be in the same room.
Mm-hmm.
And even just looking at it, I would gag.
What's funny is you actually got like so polite about it later, because like I remember one time I'd be like having dinner and you'd go like this.
Oh yeah,
and
I would
like I'm not saying
put
anything.
my nose in my shirt because I'm like trying to like cover up the smell because it's crazy the like smells and tastes of things. But yeah, that was probably
a big change in the
and
you were doing, sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, just that like throughout the pregnancy it's like I still cannot handle curries, I still can't handle this, that, but my stomach has gotten easier
because you were doing really good with some of like the like sushi and
it was like
Eastern Asian foods like PF Chang's or stuff like that.
So for me it was like, give me some plain salt and pepper, like the most white, pardon me, but like most white girl foods. And like no gravy because that's saucy. But yeah, I was just basically making like salt and pepper, like chicken and plain rice. And so this guy, he trucked through it. And
there's a couple times she'd be like, I'm making like chicken, rice, and veggie. I'd be like, and? Okay, all right.
And then I love my sushi, and so I would just get like the plain like chicken teriyaki or like avocado cucumber, just like plain rice with like a vegetable or something.
Right.
Because no raw fish, to all you thinking. Yeah. And I have another funny one.
Oh, sure.
That I oddly has carried through this whole pregnancy, that I liked before pregnancy, but I just love my spicy chicken Wendy's combo.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah,
it's like chicken like with bread and over top, breaded chicken, and it's got this like good kick to it, and then I have my Frosty after. Gotta love Wendy.
Yeah.
So
the expectations with food kind of changed,
And like my sister told me that, for her, she couldn't handle curry either for her pregnancy. And I think it was majority through her like breastfeeding too.
Okay.
That it wasn't straight after she had her kid that the curry she was able to eat it again. So I'm like, sorry, Niels, I don't know when this is gonna end. But one day we'll introduce our child to some curry.
Definitely. It is on the priority list.
Yeah.
So those are, it's cool hearing some of those expectations and challenges as well. I think for me, the challenge throughout this whole process has been like currently, just because of the rules of COVID, it's not being able to come in for any of the doctor's appointments and ultrasounds. That's just a rule. We didn't plan it that way.
Yeah.
And such. So I remember when you went in for the first ultrasound, I was like in the parking lot and I could see like another dude in the parking lot too, like while his spouse went in.
Yeah. And I had called pre-appointment at least 3 or 4 times. Are you sure he can't come in?
Yeah. And they're like, no, because we're in this pandemic and COVID. And so I had to wait outside, but it was cool. You did the best you could to make me like feel really a part of it, or even text me and give me some play-by-plays.
Yeah.
It got really real for me when we got like the first ultrasound picture, the one that we posted on Facebook on our Instagram on our announcement. But that was when I was like, whoa, there's like a little peanut, like a little human.
There's a real baby.
Yeah.
Because I didn't believe it still, because it was like, I can't feel anything. I just feel sick.
Yeah, and your doctor was super cool too, because like the family doctor, like he actually let me come in for the appointment, because he's like, no man, I'm not gonna let you miss that. I was like, oh wow, what a sweet guy. So like, and then I got to hear the heartbeat.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. And I'm like, can I take a voice note? And he's like, oh yeah. So I'm like recording it, and you I was like, oh my gosh, like what's up?
Yeah. And thankfully, like for all of our testing and everything's come back. Got a healthy baby, and
praise God.
Healthy mama. Thankfully, I haven't caught COVID, or I haven't had any colds or anything even. So like that is like in itself, I feel like a miracle so far. Because when you're pregnant, you cannot take a lot of medicines like you can when you are,
So that's actually been a good highlight for me, is actually like because of this whole work at home situation. You know, with Manitoba being one of the most intense lockdowns, like while I would have preferred to like go into the office, interact with people and coworkers, working from home has been tough, not being able to like talk with other folks and not have that interaction. But it's actually like such a blessing to be able to be home and see you go through this and such. So that is like, that outweighs the reward of being at work.
Yeah, because
like far more.
It's been tough not being able to like be with friends and family, and seeing everybody, and experiencing this with like my mom and sisters like all the time, and other friends, but I really am thankful that I'm able to have my handsome husband over here beside me, and you've been really supportive, and so thanks for that.
Thanks, babe.
So, and you've taken in some of my hormonal fluctuations of like,
you're very easygoing.
Sometimes you'll just be like, Niels, I have feelings that I have no reason for, so just to let you know.
I'm like, what's wrong? I didn't even notice. Like, because of how easygoing you are.
So yeah, it's like, I'm feeling irritated for no reason. Just so you know, you didn't do anything wrong.
I was like, good, as long as it wasn't my fault.
Excuse me.
So how has baby in the womb been?
So I'm thankful so far anyways. I keep saying so far because it's like, this is right now, and it could change tomorrow. It could change in an hour. I don't know. But so far, baby has been quite polite, and
that's good.
And I'm like, is he just is this like child?
We don't know the gender.
Yes,
you just kind of said he, but no, it has certain characteristics where sometimes we wonder. But
okay, so many people think that it's a he because the baby Jai has been quite low the whole pregnancy. So majority.
Yeah.
So anyways, so what was I saying? Baby Jai, right. So the baby has been quite polite.
Yeah.
And I think I'm like, is it just taking after like its parents? Because like Niels and I are generally pretty easygoing, pretty chill, and I'd say we were pretty polite.
I try, yeah. You're more polite than me.
So the baby just like hangs out, when it's awake. Like, we've felt it. You've been able to feel it since pretty early. I think it was like 15, 16 weeks.
Yeah, I'll like have my hand where the baby is, and I'm like, is that your stomach? Or like, did your tummy grumble, or was it like the baby? Like, what? Because
like at the beginning, it was like, this basically feels like, when you like feel really sick and you've got to like, make a run to the bathroom. So it was kind of like those grumbles, but without feeling sick.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can feel it on the outside, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Pardon my explanation. But yeah, the baby just like squirms or like moves around, and I'm pretty sure that the baby's butt has just been up in the air the whole time. And so, yeah, it's been fun feeling it around. And sometimes at nighttime, I'm like, oh, I just want to sleep. But the baby's just like, meh, meh, like just jabbing a little, or just like dancing. The other night, I'm pretty sure it had hiccups right as I was falling asleep, because was just like, when you know your baby has hiccups when it's inside, when it's like rhythmically going like don't don't don't.
Oh, so cute.
So yeah, it's like things like that are fun. But yeah,
I remember on the weekend of February the 19th to the 20th, we were at a virtual conference for young leaders aged 20 to 40 with Vineyard Canada. And I remember on the Friday night,
our church.
Yeah, at our church,
Yeah.
but on Zoom through. And then there was like 50 leaders or so there. And I remember like, you know, you were listening on your iPad and you were like feeling like the baby move. And
It
do
was.
you want to share that story? Because that testimony is
Okay.
kind of cool.
So, I think it started Friday afternoon or Friday morning.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't when like it started, the conference started. It was like, I don't know, this baby just like, God just told this baby that this conference was happening.
Yeah.
So like it could just be a coincidence, but I don't know, if we feel like this baby maybe has inherited some of our characteristics, and for us, like we're worshipers, and with worship comes dance, and this baby was like just jiggling around like for those of you listening, it was just, imagine a child just like waving its arms and legs and jigging its butt, like that's basically what it was doing for a long time, and it like was not sleeping very much during that day or that weekend, and it was to the point where like I couldn't even sit. It was so uncomfortable. And so it was like I would be walking around. And
then I remember at the end of the night.
Friday night.
Yeah, the Friday night, because we just had worship, a message, some encouragement. And then they were like, okay, now we're going to put you in breakout rooms to just pray with each other. Yeah. And it was me and you and 3 other girls, I think, got put into a breakout room.
It was very coincidental because it was very put at random. Like you got put into this small group randomly. Yeah. And it was like, oh, I'm in a room with Niels. And then it was like three other girls.
I think so, 3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah, and it was just like, okay, this is like the perfect place to ask for prayer, because like this is really uncomfortable, and like it's got me really tired, and I was like, I want to be able to concentrate, but it was just like, yeah, so it was.
Yeah, you brought it up as a prayer request for you know what Gail just shared with the discomfort and all that. And I remember the girls just got like amazing pictures for you. They're like, oh, we just picture this baby just like jumping for Jesus, and it's just dancing in the womb. It's just in the presence of God. It's just loving it. It's just, and the other one's like, yeah, I just think that like this entire time and all day it's been worshiping and helping you guys get ready for this. And then what's funny is that like individually the thought had crossed our minds. I just don't know if we ever spoke it out loud until we received that confirmation and encouragement from those girls.
Yeah. And it was interesting, too, because they said that they found some encouragement talking about, like, this joy of life. And because for, I think, everybody, there's been an aspect of negativity, discouragement through this whole 2020 into 2021 of this COVID pandemic and the restrictions that it's put on us, especially for those who are single, when you're not able to visit with your friends and family. It's like you are only allowed within your household, and when you live alone, that can get pretty lonely. And so I think it was some of those girls that kind of hit home for them and just kind of gave them a little bit of light. And so I'm glad that baby Jayasegra was able to do that for some people, and I pray that baby Jayasegra can continue to just shine its light for God in this world. So
that is such a great note to end on, and we had such a great time just sharing this with you, and thank you so much for joining us today in this new year. in our basement.
Thanks for joining us today in our basement.
Yeah, and before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and share this content in your social media platforms. And we hope to see you next time in our basement.